afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Livewire TV. This is the place where we like to interview business experts, marketing experts, and mindset experts as well. I'm Rohini from Livewire Media, and at Livewire Media, we do all sorts of corporate photography, videography, and video marketing. This week, I'm super excited to bring on my next guest, Jeff Longley from Able Electric. Jeff has a little bit of a knack for SEO, and we got chatting a few weeks ago, and I actually found out that with the businesses that he's worked with, he's actually helped them to turn over 7 figures a year, which I just think is incredible, just purely through SEO, dabbling with their SEO, improving it here and there. So I'm super excited to bring him on because he's going to be sharing his insights into how businesses can grow their business with SEO, the do's and don'ts, what to do, what not to do, and really talking about it from a common sense point of view. None of this complicated language kind of thing. And I love that you just you strip back all the rubbish, Jeff. So Jeff, I'm going to hand it over to you to give us a bit of a brief introduction as to who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name's Jeff Longley from Able Electrical. I'm in a position now, I'm semi-retired, so I've got time to learn about this stuff and experiment. And as Rohini says, I think a lot of the problem with people learning about this is all the language, metadata, meta tags, title, meta H1, backlinks, and you're just frightened of it. And then you get people saying, "Oh, you do that, you'll get Google penalties for this and that." And I was actually speaking at Google House, and Tone Paul, who was in charge, said to me he wished people would actually push Google a bit harder, push them. If you can get a penalty, just come back but don't be frightened to actually do things just because you think you might get a penalty. And we talked about penalties for duplicate content at the time, and it's no such thing. Everyone thinks there's a penalty for duplicate content, but there isn't. All it is that you've got 2 pages, and well, why would you want 2 pages of the same anyway? Don't show one of them, and that's the only penalty you get. You're not going to get your site taken down. So and I just use common sense.
Jeff, tell us a bit about your background and how you got into SEO, because I know that you didn't wake up just think, "I want to get into SEO."
No.
From when we were chatting the other day, you got into it just purely out of necessity, really, didn't you?
Yes. I had a friend, Chef Mays, and I was doing well, turning over well over £1 million turnover, but a lot of that turnover was with one company, HomeServe, and was doing a lot of call-out work. And I've been in business quite a time. I've never had staff retention problems, and suddenly, because of the amount of out of hours we're doing, even though my staff are earning very good money, some of them taking over only £1,000 a week. Some not every week, obviously, but it was out. But after a while, they were leaving me, and they all said exactly the same thing. Jeff, you're great to work for, but I just want a life. I don't want to be working in the evenings and weekends. And then, this time of year, Christmas, oh, God's sake, trying to work out who's going to be on over Christmas and who's going to have Christmas and New Year off. And, you don't want to tell people they've got young families that they're going to work. And because we got work on Christmas Day, we never didn't have work. So I went in about 3 years ago, and I think our first team meeting I put on the board, right, I don't care about figures this year. I don't care about anything else. I'm just going to make this company a better place to work, because I can't carry on, keep losing the staff, and and that's what I did. So we didn't renew the contract. HomeServe lost £500,000 worth of work, plus the work we got from that work. So you could say £750,000. And I needed to replace that. So obviously, before I made that decision, I decided what I was going to do. And electrical testing in commercial buildings, insurances were asking more and more that before you get your insurance, we want to see your electrical test certificate. So I was still a franchisee at the time, and I went to the franchisor and said, look, this is my plan. I'm going to give away all this work. I need you to help me push electrical testing. And could you put a page on our site? And they refused. They would do it. I think the reason was why they didn't know how to. But anyway, they wouldn't do it. So I need to do this. So I built my own site. Well, not me personally. You know, at this stage, you said metadata and H1. You know, I wouldn't know what you're talking about. So someone built the site, and we did okay. We got, and then I employed someone to do some SEO, someone to do market that site. I was spending about £1,000 a month trying to promote this. And luckily enough, one of the first testing jobs we got created £20,000 of rework. So I had a bit of money to spend on it. And I was spending £1,000 a month. And the views went up from, next to nothing, to about 370 a month. But they levelled off there, and it wasn't increasing. And I was getting more and more frustrated.
So you were spending about £1,000 a month and only getting about between sort of 300 and 400 hits on your website.
I said, yeah. That's all they were managing to get me. And I changed agencies a couple of times. It wasn't just one. Actually, I got no idea. Now I think, what was he doing? What was he doing for this? And so I said to the guy who designed the site for me, somebody said about having a page for your service in every town. So I said to Andy, who designed the site for me, how much would it cost for you to build a page for ERCR testing in Tamworth, Sutton Coldfield, Litchfield, how much per page?
Yeah.
And he said to me, well, I'll show you how to do it, Jeff. I just laughed. I think you won't do that. If I was about 50 years younger, maybe, but I don't understand all that stuff. And anyway, he put what he actually did, it's in a WordPress thing, but he put a duplicate on it. And people now, it's duplicate, you're going to get penalties, you're going to get kicked off Google. And anyway, I'm still there 5 years later. So, and he put a duplicate page on, and he said, if you duplicate, make sure you change the content. So I got a page, ERCR testing in Tamworth. So then I did press a duplicate button and then change it, ERCR testing in Sutton Coldfield. And then start talking about Sutton, change every mention the town of Sutton Cold, change the page about, try and do as many changes as you can. And then get it out there. The first ones took me quite a time because I kept doing things wrong, and it's all new to me. I didn't really know what I was doing. But I started putting the process in, and I built a web changes library. That's what I call it anyway. So when I get an article on ERCR testing, I put in this anything. It could be a different phone number for different areas. I put them all in this library. So when I start a new page, so now I'm going to Erdington, ERCR testing in Erdington. I look at the page and think, well, actually, I could use that paragraph for a while. So I'll stick that paragraph at the top, talk about ERCR testing in Erdington all the way through. And now I can look these pages out because of the process I've got in a few minutes, basically. Not everyone takes a few minutes because I still tend to do things wrong. And then my process is I start with thinking, what is Google there for? And Google's there to answer your questions. And this is why I want a page for every town. So if you're looking for electrical testing, and feel free to go on your mobile and do this. Electrical testing, ERCR testing. Why I chose the ERCR testing was because I went on Mars and surprisingly, when I checked the keywords, ERCR testing came up. I didn't think it would, but I think it's because insurance companies were asking people to get an ERCR test, so they're going on, what is this? And they're going on the computer and looking for it. So I called the site, ERCRtesting.com. A branding person with you're able electric. You're just confusing everyone, Jeff. But do you know what? This is 5 years, and no one has ever queried it. The domain of the site is called the ERCR testing, and we was answering it Mr. Electric at first, but now we answer it Able Electric. They don't even know. All they're looking for is a test. They're looking for someone to do the test. They're looking for a local company to do the test. I tell them that, and branded people would crucifying me, and they were like all switched off now. Yeah, so and it started working, and slowly, and it seems to go. And what I notice is every time there's a algorithm change, well, they're happening all the time, but when there's a big one, I tend to get more views because I'm doing what Google wants. I'm telling them that if someone's searching for ERCR testing in Sutton Coldfield, straight away, look at my domain name, it says ERCRtesting.com. If I'm Mr. Google in their head, I'm just pretending I'm Mr. Google. Mr. Google, it goes thing, but
you're giving people the information that they want.
Yeah, well, actually, ERCR test, that could be a possibility. He might be doing it. And then the title, the H1, I'm getting technical now, talking H1s and stuff. The H1 will say ERCR testing in the so got a 2 points here, and then straight away I mention, we are the best ERCR testing. You've come to the right place for ERCR testing in Erdington. You don't know who to do it because you don't like that. But the main thing is, it's in my URL, it's in the page title, and I start talking about it. Now, without doing this common sense thinking, I would have more than likely called that site Able Electrical. And then
your business is called.
I would have gone into a big spiel about, we are a nice, friendly company. We give fantastic service. We give money to charity. I love my dog. And Google, get on with it. What do you do? And you have a look at your site. Do you tell Google what you do and where you do it? Most people don't. And, even the name of the site. Say if my company was Arthur Jones and Sons, so use my own name, Jeff Longley and Sons. Most people, well, majority, 99%, would have their domain, Jeff Longley. Yeah. Well, they don't tell Google you're electricians. And, especially the electricians, they use the word electrical, but they're electricians. And that is a lot of what it is based on. A lot of what I do is based on that. And I say now I've got that from 370 views a month to over 4,000. And electrical testing, before, when we did that, it was 5 years ago, because I'm not actually an electrician, and I think that's a fantastic advantage running the company. That I can't get involved in the work. I'm colourblind. I can't tell a 9 from what. So don't worry about it, because I'm never going to do your job.
You're the guy that gets in the leads for them.
No. I literally bought the company because my son qualified as an electrician in 2008 and couldn't get a job. There was a recession on. He couldn't get a job. So I bought the company. I was offered.
Tell us a bit about your business, Able Electric.
The actual business itself, it started off as a Mr. Electric franchise, and I think when I bought it, it turned over 78,000 in a year. And it'd been going about 10 years, I think, and it got to the grand total of about 78,000. So I just bought it for the cost of the franchise, and I went for the franchise because I thought you get, you know, if you got an old guy, what was I, 10 years, I'm 67, I was 57, an old guy, a colourblind guy of 57, and an apprentice starting in the company. You need a bit of support, so I thought I'd get, you know, a bit more help if I went to the franchise. So we bought the franchise, and we started offline actually, because I had another company in fire and flood restoration. So and that's where all the money came from, because in 2007-8 the country flooded and I made a fortune. So I was giving, every time we went out to fire or flood, Mr. Electric were coming in and testing the electrics, and also my other franchisees in the area, they were using us. We was getting a bit of work from home serve. And so the first few months, we hit the ground flying, and then it all went wrong. Home serve, they had actually offered to buy out Mr. Electric for X amount, but he wanted even more. And I said, well, let's start our own franchise. And what, unknown to me, all the work I was getting from home serve suddenly went to the franchisee bought the area. So I lost that, and on the fire and flood restoration side, we were, shouldn't really admit it, I came back, but we were overcharging. And the restoration industry put a limit to what you could charge per call out. And what that meant is a lot of the time, it wasn't worth their while calling us out, because they call us out on every time, mainly, it should be mainly because of safety, but obviously because of safety, but the main reason they call us out when they thought, oh, should we, was they could put a 15% uplift or 20% uplift, whatever it was, on the bill. And if my bill was 200, it's worth them doing it. If my bill was 75, they don't make much. So our call out for that went down and down. And then I had to start. And it's the first time in my business life I've had to actually start learning about any form of marketing. Because, I had 3 franchises, and one was highway glass. We went out, called out by the insurance industry after break-ins. So the work was passed to us. And with Rainbow International, we was called out after fire and floods. Again, the work was given to us by the franchise, but this franchise, there was a little bit of national accounts, but I couldn't survive on it. So, I've been in business by that time 20 years. I never had to market my business.
So the algorithms on Google, or all search engines pretty much, but mostly Google, and even social media, they're constantly changing. How do people keep up with the algorithm changes?
I tend not to worry too much. I tend just to do what I feel is right. As I say, I've got this thing in my head that Google is there for a reason, to answer a question. If I answer that question, whatever Google's algorithms are doing is to give it a better service. And I'm just doing what Google wants. I answer that question, where we are. And because I think a lot of people following backlinks and getting masses of backlinks because it made them look good, they suffer.
What is a backlink?
I'm so technical now. I'm so technical. Believe anything. Basically, where another site puts a link to your site, which obviously if another site's putting a link to your site, that other site saying I trust this site, etc. But then it started getting abused, and totally irrelevant sites were selling backlinks. You know, I just build a site and giving you backlinks. I didn't really get too involved in it. I do links for all my sites, the one and the other. So yeah, and that, you know, this is.
So you don't get too bogged down with the algorithm changes. You just give Google the long-term ones.
You know, whenever I've read anything about SEO, I'm sure it's all written by very, very clever people who have got to get, say, Marks and Spencer's above Next, or Coca-Cola above Pepsi-Cola, and they, to get that 1 or 2% difference, they really have to go deep into it. But I'm an electrician. Well, I'm not an electrician, obviously, but we're electricians. And all I've got to do is get above Joe Blogg's electrician. So I don't have to, you know, I liken it to training for the Olympics, to turn up and run in the dad's race at school sports day or something like that. So I just have to do the fundamentals. And all these clever people, they don't even, I've never read on any of the blogs I'm in, and about the real, I mean, real importance of metadata. Metadata is if you type in, say, ERCR testing in Tamworth, you'll notice the first one that comes up is ercrtesting.com, and the actual blue title at the top will say ERCR testing Tamworth. Exactly what you wrote in. And that's your meta title. And then there's a description of your company afterwards. And I put in there ERCR testing in Tamworth and a few other things. And you can try this on anything. I did a great experiment with my son's got an express franchise. Now, it's a great service, 150 of them throughout the country, and they go to all the big parcel companies and say, if you use us, give us a massive discount and we'll act as an agent, we'll go and get the smaller guys on board for you. So you can give anyone who's selling parcels a better price than if they went direct because of your massive discounts, and you handle their parcel delivery for them. But when my son bought the franchise, his site doesn't show up whatsoever.
Right.
Now, if you look at parcel delivery in Stoke, you'll see in Express. He's out in Stoke. But if you look at parcel delivery anywhere else in the country, and I can almost guarantee in Express will not show up. Now, this is a stupid thing about this stuff. I'm not allowed to change that, so I ask in Express to change it. And to my mind, because if things are simple to me, and it's this problem I've got, I get frustrated that people say, "Oh, that's so simple, Jeff. I want to do that." And it's frustrating, you know.
Yeah.
If I was sitting up there at head office, well, why did I do it for everyone else? Yeah.
Tell us about what should be on a website then for good SEO.
Quite simple. If you're so let's keep to the trade things, aren't they? So if you're a plumber, actually one very good tip. Now we're electricians. Now for me to show up for electrician is hard because there's thousands of them. You know, there's loads of them live, and there's loads of them have still got web pages out there.
Yeah.
So the first thing that you need to do is actually look at what type of work you want. You know, we're electricians, so I could be fitting showers, storage heaters, ring doorbells, smart home security. So I look at the areas I want. So I wanted electrical testing, and now it's car charging installation, because we're pretty strong on car charging installation. If you search anywhere on Google in and around Birmingham, you'll find my company's turning up. So don't always go for the big term. Go for the smaller stuff, the easier stuff to get, the low-hanging fruit, if you want. So if you're, say, a bathroom company, you're selling bits of cabinets, yeah, and or toilet bowls or whatever, actually build a page for toilet bowls, because if someone's looking for a toilet bowl, there's not going to be many pages just dedicated to toilet bowls. You're going to come up quite easy. So, and then what that does is that page starts getting a few views here, and get more views than if you put new bathrooms or something, because there's loads of bathroom companies out there. And then Google like that, because people are going on your site, and then your main thing will come up as well. But if you just go for the main thing, it doesn't come up as well. And you're, yeah, because that area is saturated. But you know, Google likes, well, this is just my view. There's what, millions of sites out there, aren't there? So the first thing you've got to do is show Google that you're actually alive. Most of them are old sites, dead sites. And if you just leave your site, Google don't know you're trading. He doesn't drive past your house. You've got to demonstrate that your site is alive.
How do you do that then?
Well, you can, the best thing to do is don't leave it to someone else. Get whoever does your site to give you access and show you a little bit, and add a couple of blogs. Put a couple of reviews on, even if you just copy them and paste them from somewhere else. But do something, just change your site. If you regularly change your site, Google knows you're alive. Technically, people might say you need to do this and do that, but just making a change is better than doing nothing. Just, you know, changing a couple of words, or putting this paragraph above that paragraph, or something like that. Whatever you do, change your site. That's important. Get reviews, and I can't tell you how to do it here, but you can get reviews from Google going straight to sites. Every time someone puts a review on, get that going to your site. So, and your Twitter feed. And I've
seen that on some websites. They have like what we call like an RSS feed, where like it's just like a constant feed of tweets that are on the website.
That's it, and that goes on, but don't do what I did at first, because it was my personal Twitter, and I've got shares in a couple of main sources, and I put a tweet out back with my source out, and it appeared on my site.
I was going to say, how do videos perform on websites for SEO? How do videos perform on website for SEO?
They perform well. The thing is with a video, and you know, after this I'm doing this because I'll be remembered. I could write something. I could write a blog, and one or two people might read it, but a video gets remembered. And you know, I've done a few videos out there that people still talk about now. A famous one where I throw money away because we save people money. You know, I went in to see this guy, and he's sitting there, and he's throwing money away, and I'm throwing £20 notes all over the place. And he says, I can't help it.
Where should the video be placed on the website then, in order to like maximize its potential?
I would have a video quite high up, because people will look on the video, and also it keeps them on that site for a while, because you know, a lot of sites you go on, nah, don't like that, and off again. Yeah. But if there's a video, the chances are you're going to look on that, and you'll be on it a minute or two, and that all helps your rankings, because Google says, oh, actually people like this site, they stay on it, they don't just disappear. So you know, a video on the site is really important. And obviously, you don't want too many videos because slow it
It'll slow it
down.
down, yeah.
Yeah. But certainly, videos on the site are very, very important. I wouldn't, you know.
It helps with the metadata as well, doesn't it? Because Google recognizes the websites that have video on it compared to those who don't.
Oh, yeah. And if that video is up there on YouTube and it gets shared about and they get people to your site, you know, and also the ALT text. So if someone's looking for pictures, say they've got car charger installation and they're looking, and then they go in photos and videos, will come up. So it's things like, now this gets a bit more in depth, but it's not that in depth. If you put a photo on the site and you're seeing it says alt data, ALT, I can't think what it stands for at the moment, but if you put, say it's a picture of a car charger install we did in Tamworth, you put car charger install Tamworth, when someone goes on Google and looking at the pictures of car charger, that'll come up. And it's just a simple, just loads of symbols. But I think to tell the truth, people go wrong right from the start with sites. People say, oh yeah, I've got to have a site, everyone's got a site, I've got to have a site as well. But they don't ask themselves why. What's the point of this site? You know, why am I having a site? You know, something. And there could be various reasons why you have a site. Could be lead generation, which, you know, it's about, but it just could be block brand awareness. Or it could be to teach people. And then your site will be different for the different things. You know, it's no good if I'm doing a lead generation site. It should be purely lead generation. And I learned a lot of this from a company, eSales Hub. If you haven't got time to do what I do, search eSales Hub and they do it for you, and they only charge per phone call. So it's none of this. And this is how it all started, actually. Yeah, the guy came into the franchise and I thought, go away, you're not a salesman who can get me to the top of Google. Go away, man, like, you know. And
just on that note, Jeff, because a lot of people, a lot of marketers, they'll promise to get you onto the first page top rankings of Google, but realistically, how long does it take for a business to see their return on investment for good SEO?
Realistically, I can do it the next day.
Yeah. Wow.
That site, if you search parcel delivery or pallet delivery, so a day before they changed the metadata, because I'd done a few posts, the Facebook post linking to it, I managed to get it to the bottom of page 1. The next day, that metadata was on, it was at the top. It can happen that quick and it can take a while. But it depends on the competition. If I'm trying for the electrician, now that's going to take a time because there's so much competition and there's so many sites out there. You know, it all depends on the age of your site, the amount of traction you get, because if you don't get much traction to your site, I don't know what you do, it's going to take a while to get up there. But if you've got a site, you know, it's like a rolling ball. Once you get going, it's far easier. So, and then people, you can sort of say to me, yeah, I can get you on page 1 of Google. But in my view, page 1 is great, but I want to be there 4 or 5 times. I don't want to just be there once.
Yeah, you wouldn't be there for different search terms.
No, even the same search term. I want to be there a few times. I don't just, you know, why would I want to be one out of, what's it, about a dozen companies when I can be 3 or 4 or 5? And any one site can occupy 2 places in Google page 1. They won't have any more than
Okay.
two. They won't have, for the same search term, they won't have more than 2 pages, but those pages have to be different. If you look, you know, you can, all this you can see if you look for car charger installation in, we're based in Tamworth, so that comes up well, but any town, Birmingham, Sutton Coldfield, whatever, and you'll see I've got quite often got 2 sites from the same, sorry, 2 pages from the same site on Google.
Right.
But when you look at those pages, they're different. If I had 2 pages from the same site that were more or less the same, they wouldn't both show. So when people change their websites and things like that, yeah, the old franchise, they changed their website just because they didn't do this stuff and they expected different result. And the actual result was they spent 78,000, I think, and was it 178? Anyway, it's massive money, stupid amounts of money, and my sites actually went down. And they went down because all the blogs I've written, I've done metadata for them. And when they brought the blogs over, but they didn't bring the metadata over, so they didn't show anything. So we lost out. And people don't, you know, it's really is simple stuff. This is, it isn't hard. Anyone can look at that site, and even if they don't know how to do it, just phone up the guy and say, look, I want my metadata to tell people this. Go on, Moz, get a few keywords that work for you and make sure they're in your metadata. Don't get it for a solicitor. They great content, they like loads of blogs and everything, but they just weren't showing because they weren't telling Google in the metadata that they are solicitors in Nuneaton. And this works great for solicitors because you know, you've got litigation, criminal law, family law, and you want all those terms to show up. And they'll write a blog, and blog writing is great, but often that blog, you know, I might write a blog about LED lighting. Now, if I just put a blog there all about...
Oh, I think Jeff's just getting a call come through.
Sorry, a call coming on the phone there. Yeah, if I put a blog in about LED lighting, now that attracts anyone who's looking for LED lighting. But every electrician site's got something about LED lighting, and it could attract people all over the country. So even if you put a blog, it's important to use the same tactics on that blog. So if I write a blog about LED lighting, it's LED lighting in Birmingham, because I ain't interested in LED lighting elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think having a video accompanied by the blog on a website really, really helps as well. Because if somebody doesn't want to read, then they can just watch or listen to the content instead, and they're still keeping on your website, which therefore helps with the rankings.
Oh yeah, because you know, video, it gets it over like that. Whereas, you know, I'm terrible for it. I'll see something, and I think, can't be bothered with that. Too many words. Can't be bothered with it.
So how can social media help with our SEO? Because I know that LinkedIn is directly linked to our Google SEO, but how about social media in general?
Social media in general, and yeah, well, let's take LinkedIn. Let's take LinkedIn. People post there all the time.
Yeah.
You look at, you just go through a page on LinkedIn and you look, oh, he's got 1 like and 2 likes and 3. And every now and again, you actually look at Wendy Harris. She's a friend of mine, and she gets so much engagement, it's ridiculous. You know, every Friday she put up a word of the week, and people respond. My word of the week is this, and, and it goes on and on. I can't believe how many people. And she tells me if she forgets it, she's got, what's the word of the week, Wendy? I want to put my word of the week up. But it's not only that. And I've got to really dig down deep with Wendy, because she is very good at getting engagement on everything she does. And I'm experimenting myself. And this is, you know, something I've been experimenting on just recently. And so what I've got now is a group of friends, family, friends. I know, say if I want a post shared and I really want it out there, there's 6 people that I know. If I tag them, that they will share it, they will like it. Now the algorithms are based on if it's liked, if it's shared, we give it to a few more people, see what happens. And if I just put a post on that I'm not that bothered, I just did it because I'm sitting there bored or something, I'll get a little email from or a message from LinkedIn saying you only got 78 views on that, start sharing that. And was it last week? I put a post on it, just started on a funny post, and I shared it out, and I got I think up to 4,000 views on that one, just because I shared it out with people, and I aimed it for people to comment on. It's, you know, it's like giving them facts, you know, we've done this great review, it's great, but you know, people are, oh, that's great, but you know, have you got any good reviews or something? But try and make it so people will comment on that, even if it's been a bit controversial. But don't just put a post out there and expect, you know, you're more or less wasting your time, because a few people see it. The idea is that loads of people see these posts and interact with them, and you know, you'd be surprised the difference it makes. So just you know, I've had someone do LinkedIn for my son's business, and he just put posts out there. He got no nice post, but this is supposed to be a professional, and he didn't copy anyone in. He didn't tag anyone in. He might have put a few groups down the bottom, but that was and you know, whenever I see his own posts, they've got no engagement.
Yeah.
You know, if I do a post out there, and the thing is, say you tag 8 people in, and then that goes on their feed, and then after a while you say, okay, I could have tagged him in. So if you run out of space, you just tag someone else in. And even if it means untagging those ones, because it's on their feed anyway, you know, once it's gone to their feed, job done. So you can take them off and then tag someone else. And if I really want something there, I'll do that. Yeah, because, and especially when you go, and you can use it for keeping in touch with people. You know, I think, God, I haven't spoken to Matty for ages. I'll take him in on a post, just let him know I'm still thinking about him, I'm still here.
Because at the end of the day, they're all social networks, so they're all about, you know, that people interaction, right?
Yeah. You know, I was taking on a post, but it's very important that those people who are helping you help them. I think it goes back to the old BNI thing. You know, a lot of us have been to BNI, but givers gain. So you have to help them. And if you help someone, this is just sort of psychology and O-level marketing, whatever. First thing you do to gain influence over someone is help them. Do something for them, and then they'll want to do something back. Not everyone, but you know, most people, if you help them, they'll want to help you. So if you like and comment and share what they do, they're more likely going to do it. You know, don't expect just to find the 6 closest friends and keep bombarding them with stuff, but ignoring everything they put out. It's not going to get it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't say that one. A bit paid off with that.
So, Jeff, why do you think your business has succeeded so much online when so many others have failed, even when they've had good SEO? What's been the major difference?
Well, they might have paid for it, but they might not be. I think they had good SEO, have they? You can pay someone to do SEO, and that, you know, it's like when someone builds a website, and this always gets me with website builders. They build a website, and I've had it. Not cheap people either, you know, pretty good people. They build a website and the metadata, they either don't do it or it's not relevant. And so I
So
would say to them,
if you had to summarize like the top 5 things that have made you stand out compared to your competitors, what would they be?
okay, the top things that have got me up there on Google, one is undoubtedly good metadata. And use your SEO terms. It doesn't even have to make sense what you put down. You know, able electrician, and then don't waste words. Don't waste. You know, don't exceptional service and all this rubbish, because Google isn't looking for that. If someone typed in, "I want a company with exceptional service," you know, everything would come up. So just put the SEO terms in your metadata you want to be found for.
Yeah.
This will shoot you up the rankings straight away. And so many people don't even do that. If you want to get on the front page or whatever page you can get up, there's no opinion English on the front page more than once, build 2 pages that are slightly different. It's not that hard to do. You've got a lot of content anyway, and so just building that and use your metadata, and you'll get 2 pages up there. You know, you can't always guarantee it, but if you don't do it, you won't. You know, if you've only just got 1 page, that's the only page you can get up there. But if you've got 2 pages, you can get 2 pages up there. Go for terms, as you say, they're not crowded. Don't have pages for those, because you know at one stage they will get up there, and that's the like.
Yeah.
You don't deal when they get up there, but go for the terms and look for areas of your business that are successful. You know, that feed you in money. You know, so we know that there's a demand for testing and there's demand for car chargers, and these are going to grow and grow and grow. So
yeah,
you know, in your, if you make look at me, blinds or something like that. There's a new type of blind coming out. Make sure you promote it or whatever. So it's, don't ignore your metadata, for God's sake. Yeah. Make sure you know what that site's there for. And you know, because you'll read the SEO. Oh, you've got to have good content, relevant content. But they don't. What is good content? I don't know. I don't know what good content is. Put Sonnet from Shakespeare up there. Oh, God's sake, it must be good, because Shakespeare wrote it. Okay, we're doing really good. But make it relevant to what you're doing. So if you've got
tell people exactly what. So tell Google exactly what people want to see, and that will comes down to
and also don't tell them what you think they want. You know, what I've done recently is ask my customers why they come back to me.
Yeah.
And haven't done this. No one. I've been on loads of coaching, and no one's ever said. You know, they always say, do a survey and ask people what they want. But when people use you, you know, they'll say thank you and all that. But now I start asking them, why? Well, why did you come back to us? Loads of it. Why us? And then you find out, well, actually, that is important to those people.
Yeah.
So then you start and answer questions.
Yeah.
If your site is just information, but if you find the main objections, you know, like the main objections, you know, we're trying to do a load of articles on why you will buy an electric car and dispelling all the myths about range anxiety and all this. So answer questions. The question for us, say typical for us, what are people, why won't people call an electrician? And what I found out is pricing. They don't know how much they're going to be charged. So have it on your site. We are going to, don't be afraid to tell them how much you're going to be charged. We will charge, and you don't necessarily have the cost. With us, I will put, we will come out, we will visit, we'll give you a quote, and that's it. If we've underquoted, we've got to put another socket in, we will not be saying, well, that socket costs us £1.20, but we've got a minimum charge of 20 quid for a socket, so you've got to pay 20 plus labour. Make them feel comfortable that when you come out and you give them a price, it's going to so that takes that price worry. And you know, a big worry with trades is that you won't turn up. You know, we all know that. So give them the reasons why we will turn up. We don't write stuff on the back of a fake bag here. We've got a proper CRM system. You are booked in for that job, and the office can see if the guy's running late. You will be given a time. He will call you on the way. So, actually,
you're reassuring them.
I think I can trust this company to come out. So, you know, in other trades, it might be something different. But you know, I think in the car trade, what we all worried about, you know, some pushy salesman, and then they're having to haggle pricing and all this. So make it.
It just comes down to giving. It just comes down to really telling Google exactly what your audience want to see, doesn't it? What they want to understand about you. That comes down to audience research.
And giving the audience that trust. There are fears about any, you know, maybe video. People might be thinking, you know, what's the fears? Why won't I get a video done? Oh, but it costs a bleeding fortune. So they don't even look at it. So if you're making sure they've got some idea of the price range at the start, well, actually, it's not bad, that isn't. Or I don't know what to do with it. You know, I've got a video. What do I do with it? So you let them know. Yeah, we can help you. We can put it on Facebook, and then you can share it, and we can teach you what to do with it, or whatever. You know, whatever is the sort of pain point coming into calling not only you but your customers and your competitors. Whatever those pain points are in your trade, make sure you address those pain points. Don't just hide them by telling everyone, "Oh, we'll give great service." Because you know, when I read that, and the thing is, I built my company up on great service. But whenever I say to someone, and you know, this is how we got to 1.2, just basically the quality of our service. But if I say something to that, I think, oh, I'm just sounding like every other bloke out there. The fact that we actually do it, how do you convince people that we do it? Yeah.
Amazing. Well, Jeff, we're going to wrap it up here. I really, really appreciate you sharing your tips. You've shared some absolute golden nuggets of wisdom, which I really, really appreciate. I know that's going to help so many business owners just get through the current situation. But yeah, Jeff, is there anything else that you want to add before we wrap it up here?
I'll say, all right, if you sat through this, thanks, great. But I have stood up in front of groups of 50, 60 businessmen, and I haven't told them how I've done it. And I've said, I'll take my view from here to here. And you know what? Very, very few are bothered to say, "Jeff, how did an old guy like you do that? You know, an old guy like you can do it, just think what I can do." And it's true, you know. When I talk to other people, I get so much from them because I only know this little bit, but my little bit works. So go away, look at your metadata. Hopefully, if you don't understand what it is, just type in Google what it is, and see if you are using your keywords in your metadata. See if someone types in that they want your service, you're telling them straight away that you give that service. If your company's, you know, F. Jones and Sons, and then you start talking about all the other fluffy stuff, but you're not telling them that you fit bathrooms or you manufacture widgets or whatever, make sure in that first paragraph, hit them straight away. This is what we do. All the fluffy stuff, put down the bottom. Make sure you are, you know what that page is about.
Mm.
If it's, you know, if you just want it out there to educate people, you know, charity, you want to educate them on green issues,
Find out the reasons,
or whatever, that's fine. It doesn't matter so much, but it's just there for education. But if you are trying to sell, if you're using it as a selling thing, don't be afraid to sell. And please don't put rubbish on it. You know, we give the best service, because, you know, everyone's, you know, no one's going to come on and say, look,
be unique. Yeah.
Yeah, you're cool. I actually won't bother to answer the phone.
Love it, love it. Guys, make sure
track what you do, track your results, because I change things all the time. You know, yeah. I'll give you one is when I built one of the car charging sites, I didn't go to Moz first and find out the SEO. I just assumed everyone's going to put car charging installation. So, and then when I went to Moz, it said to me, actually, the biggest terms people search for is electric car charging installation. And I didn't know that, you know. So go to Moz first, find out your keywords, and make sure you've got them in your metadata, because you will not be shown without it. And think of that, what I did with that in Express. There's 150 of them throughout the country. You look for parcel delivery in any town, you more or less won't see an Express. But if you look for parcel delivery in Stoke, you will see an Express. I'm more likely got me some in trouble now if I keep mentioning that.
Guys, make sure you join us next week at the same time. We're going to be talking all about business strategy. And we actually have a really exciting story and a business journey to share with you guys. So make sure you're here 12 p.m. UK time, right here at Livewire TV. It's going to be a really amazing time. Take care.